All right, if you've been an agent for a little bit, or maybe you're brand spanking new and you're just starting to get your feet wet and you're starting to feel like maybe the brokerage that you chose or the company or the team that you picked isn't quite the one for you. There's just a couple of misalignments that you thought it was going to be something else, and now that you're into it, it's not quite panning out. So these are 5 signs that you should change your brokerage. And I know that these next 6 months in real estate, so we're talking the first 6 months of 2023, there's already been a lot of momentum of agents changing. And I just feel like even more is going to happen in the first and second quarter of next year. I'm just going to go through these, right? What are some of the triggers and some of the warnings you should look for if it's time to move companies? So fun fact, according to the National Association of Realtors, back in 2013, the average turnover for an agent was every 7 years, meaning about every 7 years they get that itch and they decide, you know what, this isn't the company for me anymore, I'm gonna move. But as of 2019, that number went down to 4 years. And honestly, to tell you, because of the pandemic and how that changed everybody's work-life balance, I feel like it's even less than that now. So I feel like it's about that 1 to 2 year itch people are getting, where they're ready to really take their business to the next level. And if that company doesn't perform to what they said they were gonna do, people are ready to bounce. They wanna find the best home for their company and for their quality of life. And so it's really important to find a place that's gonna have good cultural alignment. So let's go in. Number 5 warning is if you are the most tech savvy person in your office, it's probably not a good sign, right? Because we join companies because we want to learn, we want to grow, and we want to improve ourselves in our business. But if you're the most tech savvy social media person, then maybe you need to up-level your circle, right? And really evaluate who are the ones teaching you stuff, and are they teaching you what today's agents need to know? Or are they stuck in another era? Which leads me into number 4, right? Which that means their leadership and the people who are teaching and training you are stuck in a fixed mindset and an old school way of thinking. So their way of generating business is cold calls first. You have to do it by the book, and you have to door knock, and you have to do XYZ. And if you don't do it their way, the way that they were taught 20 years ago, then there's no way you're gonna succeed because social media is a joke. Ha ha ha, right? Like, we don't want those kinds of people. But I get it, because I see new agents who end up joining companies like that because of the reputation, because of their sales record, right? They might be a top performing team, but if the leadership and the people who are mentoring you are not actually doing what tomorrow's agent needs to be doing, again, reevaluate. Is this the place that's gonna stretch you and grow you and ultimately have fun along the ride? Number 3 on my list is to really evaluate your peers. So yes, you have your principal broker and you have your main mentor, but who are the people that you're hanging out with, right? Really evaluate the 5 people in your peer group. And are they bringing you up or are they bringing you down? I really see 2 different types of agents. The one is the go-getter, right? They're gonna be the first one to finish. They're kind of like the teacher's pet. They just wanna get everything done as soon as possible. And they're action takers, they're doers. And then you have the other kind of person that's kind of like a check the box type of person. Well, I made my 10 calls for the day. Or they just kind of laugh and scoff at what the income generating activities of the business are, when really that should be your number 1 focus. And if you can do those number 1 activities in the first part of your day, then sure, we can kind of mess around in the second half of the day. But often I see people who are quite honestly lazy and they have a really hard time getting self-motivated, and they start to bring other people down around them if they don't share similar mindsets. So you have to be really careful of who's in your ear, who are the people around you that are learning with you, right? Are they taking you up or are they bringing you down? All right, number 2 on my list is evaluating the opportunity of growth in your office. So a lot of the times with a traditional brokerage and team, what happens is you're a brand new buyer's agent, right? You're super eager to get in, but you know nothing. Like, that's one thing that real estate school does not teach us, is how to actually do the business. They teach us the rules, but they don't tell us how to run a business or what the day-to-day activities are. So a lot of times these traditional teams are gonna tell you, you're gonna be our ISA for the first 6 months. And what's an ISA? It's an inside sales agent. So you're literally stuck on a phone for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and that's your job. And guess what? Oh, you got a buyer? Well, great, that team leader is gonna take them and you can't service that buyer. These are literally the stories that I hear, and it hurts my heart to hear that that's how some people choose to run their business. Let's say you're an ISA for 6 months. Okay, yeah, you graduated to buyer's agent. Woo, you can finally take a buyer out on showings, and you're limited to that for 1 to 2 years. It literally can take you 3 years in some of these teams to become a listing agent. And I just think that model is so broken and so disadvantageous to the agent who's starting. So I'll tell you, my very first transaction was a listing. Like, straight out of the gate, I had a listing. I got a withdrawn listing that I converted into a sale. And if I would have joined a traditional team or somebody with that old way of thinking that I needed 3 years of experience to take on that listing, number 1, I would not have been satisfied as an agent, because I love having the flexibility and the entrepreneurial creativity to do my business the way I want it, but I just wouldn't have learned, right? Part of what makes you a good buyer's agent is that you understand the mindset and the behind the scenes of a listing agent. You should be able to do both. So I just really think evaluate, right? If you are being limited in how how fast or how far you can grow in the first year as an agent, or maybe you're a year 2, 3 in and you're still feeling limited, or all the good deals goes to one person and not another, it's time to just get serious, step back, look at the big picture and decide, is this where I see myself in the next year? All right, my number one thing of the 5 signs that you might need to switch a brokerage is simply mentorship and support. So often, and I mean like every week, I'm talking to agents who signed up with a company or a team and they were promised the world, right? They were over-promised and then under-delivered. So this agent went all in on this company, all in on these people that promised to train them. And then when push comes to shove, there's nothing. The people are too busy to work with them. They never have availability to answer your silly questions. And really the accountability just isn't there. You feel like you're still dropped off in the middle of the ocean and you're not sure which way to swim. The mentor that's supposed to be there for you is really only there if you actually have a client, not on the day-to-day. And you're just wondering like, how the heck am I supposed to succeed and make the needle move, right? You're just still kind of swimming. And so I think you should challenge yourself to kind of look what's outside of where you're at. What other options are there? What other type of mentorship is there? And I can tell you firsthand, I'm a certified mentor with eXp Realty. I have about 6 mentees under me and I manage a team here in Hawaii and I am with them daily. I do a daily accountability. We use Voxer, which is a walkie-talkie app. All my mentees have access to me during business hours to just drop in and say, hey, Marina, I can't find that freaking form. Or what do I do with this client? They just talked to me on the phone. How do I answer them? I'm there and able to respond as soon as I possibly can. And if I can't, I shoot them a quick message. I'm like, hey, I'm in a meeting, go ask this person. I'm never gonna leave you hanging or wondering how to move the needle. The number one thing that most new agents have an issue with is the amount of time accountability and just not knowing, how do I fill 8 hours in the day and be productive when you have no actual clients? So I actually help my mentees and my team come up with that core calendar, right? What does it look like to actually move the needle in your business? And how are you gonna make sure that most of your focus is on income producing activities and not being busy or scrolling social media trying to get ideas and inspiration? I don't want you to be a situation where it's failure to launch. I want you to know that you have a set game plan. You don't need to reinvent the wheel and you can actively use multiple lead gen sources to build out this solid pipeline for a successful business. Okay guys, so that kind of wraps up the 5 kind of signs to look for and triggers if you might be feeling like, oh, like you named 3 things that I'm dealing with, but I just don't know, or I really love my broker and just she's been so awesome. I love her as a friend, da 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 da. Like I hear it all. But you've got to look back and remove yourself from the situation and think big picture, right? 3 years from now, 5 years from now, is this where you see yourself holding your business? And is that the kind of agent that you want to become? Or do you have a bigger vision? I know for me, I plan on running teams in multiple states in the next couple of years. I already mentor and work with people all across the country. And just quick side tangent here, you do not have to be with a company necessarily based on location and zip code. So when I joined eXp Realty, Travis was already in Colorado Springs with the Ferris team, and I was here in Hawaii. Okay, so we're across the Pacific Ocean from each other. In the entire first 2 years, I'm going on year 3, I have been doing business in Hawaii while he has been in Colorado. And never for 1 second have I doubted the amount of support I've gotten, the access to him and the availability to answer questions and make sure that I'm getting set up for success. And we've done it all virtually. And so don't ever think that you need to have a brick and a mortar or literally a person sitting down next to you to show you what to do on the computer. We have technology today to do it all from literally wherever in the world. We just launched a group in South Africa. So the sky is the limit. There are no borders to your business and kind of where you want to go. You just really have to find the right home. And so that's what I want you guys to focus on as you go into the next year and come out swinging. So thank you guys so much for listening. Drop a comment if you guys have questions about this or what the process looks like. I know for some it could be overwhelming and you're not even sure how to start the process of switching brokerages because you're getting overwhelmed with, man, I have to change all my branding and I have to order all new business cards. And guys, I can tell you can do it in 1 week. Okay, it's really simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Just reach out and get started and we'll help you get from there. All right, thanks for listening. I will see you guys next week with another video and we'll see you soon. Bye.